Welcome to Strong and Supported Pelvic Health. This is where we are going to talk all things pelvic floor, pregnancy, postpartum, fitness, weightlifting, and even overcoming pain, because you deserve to feel strong and supported no matter what season you're in. I want you to walk away from every episode with a few nuggets of applicable wisdom, feeling more empowered in your wellness journey. Let's get started.
All right, so we are talking with Carly DeGarmo today, who is a postpartum doula, who also, if I'm remembering correctly, also has a history with nursing. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Awesome. So, Carly, if you wouldn't mind just taking a few moments to briefly explain who you are, like what you're passionate about, and just like your background.
Yeah. I am a postpartum doula and also a registered nurse, like Lindsay said. So as a postpartum doula, I support families during that transition period of welcoming a baby to their new home. And so that can be the first few weeks or even the first few months after bringing baby home. And so to support families, I really do love to incorporate the whole family. And I provide the emotional support, the physical support, and the practical support. That includes hands-on guidance, newborn care, meal planning, prepping, just physical support for mom so she can heal properly, tidying up the home. It's really just incorporating like an overarching goal of how can I be that support person for the mom and that baby when the rest of the family is also going through that transition period of welcoming the new baby home, and their goal is to bond with that baby. And as a pediatric nurse, I love that I can incorporate my clinical background knowledge with that as well. I never use my nursing judgment or clinical practice when I am a doula, but I can use that knowledge and that experience with kids and with newborns to help parents feel more confident and safe. And the fact that I can really help them and educate them in red flags when mom's healing and when baby's learning how to live in this environment. And then when I do notice something, or if I notice something as a doula, I have a ton of resources and referrals that I can send that mom to, that just incorporates like physical therapists, pediatricians if they need it, lactation specialists. But using my clinical judgment really helps me feel confident in sending them to other providers if they need it. But yeah, I really find that being a nurse and a doula incorporates two things that I really love doing, which is ultimately helping people and supporting people's health journey. But specifically moms and babies are like the area that I really love working with.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And in all of that, like what first initially inspired you to become a doula? Because I know you have one child.
Yes.
On your own. Just tell me a little bit about your background on what inspired you, and did you have a doula yourself?
Yeah, so actually my postpartum experience led me to becoming a postpartum doula. I did have a doula. She was there for us for one day, and that one day like changed my life. And after that one day, my husband and I sat down, and I was getting ready to start thinking about going back to work at that point. And my husband and I thought that postpartum doula work is where my heart was at, after seeing the positive impact of what our doula provided, and then also allowing me to still incorporate that care that nursing involves. So yeah, it was my own postpartum experience, the positive side of it, that really just led me to be where I am today and look into becoming a postpartum doula.
Yeah, I feel like that personal experience can definitely like reinforce your own like directionality, especially like same with me. Like after I had my son, I was so much more connected with the clientele.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I get it. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I know what you're going through a little bit more now. And then having to heal from my own like pelvic
Mm-hmm.
floor dysfunction, it made me so much more empathetic and like understanding of their needs more than had I not gone through that motherhood journey myself.
Totally.
Yeah. So in that kind of connection between your clients and you, what are some of the common themes that you're noticing, like that maybe new moms struggle with, whether it be like emotional, physical, all of the above?
Yeah, no, totally. I think this is a great question, and it actually is the reason why I do what I do, and became a postpartum doula. Because I find, and what I personally experienced myself too, is the heavy emotional weight of this huge transition. Yes, obviously there's that physical aspect of like you're leaking, you're healing, you're sore, you're like all these things are going wrong physically, it feels like, but emotionally, I feel like it's way more than just caring for a new baby and letting your body heal. It's like figuring out who you are as a mom now. And like, even if it's 1 kid, 2 kids, or 3 kids now, like there's such this huge identity shift that moms face. And I feel like it can feel so heavy, and they can be surprised by how heavy that feels. And they could feel isolated and alone. So I really do feel like my postpartum experience led me to create Grow and Grace Doula Care, because I took that name from a verse in the Bible that I was clinging to, and it was 2 Peter 3:18. And it's such a reflection of what I really do believe moms need in postpartum. Like, yes, they need the physical support, but ultimately it comes down to just giving moms grace in that period of um, they need grace. They don't need to have it all figured out. Their bodies aren't going to be perfect. They're going to feel overwhelmed, and there's going to be hard feelings and hard days. But we need to give moms grace to go at their own pace. And I feel like culture really makes it this like race to perfection in postpartum. And so my whole mission as a postpartum doula, and like my company in general, is just to walk alongside moms and meet them where they're at and remind them that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to feel stretched thin, because yes, that's normal, unfortunately, to feel stretched thin postpartum, but you're not doing it alone, and no one's expecting you to be perfect. And new moms are so strong and so capable. I feel like moms are the strongest people on this earth. And I just feel like they need to be reminded of that, and reminded that grace is the goal, not perfection.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Yeah, it's definitely so hard to not get caught up in like the race of the bouncing back, the I look like I have it all put together, and I look put together, and look at my child, they look like they're really put together.
Literally, yeah.
Like this, all about the image, but like deep down, I know most moms, all moms, are dealing with this like struggle of knowing what's normal and what's not. And the same goes with like you mentioned, with moms who have multiple babies. They've never had that many kids before, you know.
Right. Totally.
So that changes the whole dynamic of who they are and how they interact with the world. And I've met so many moms who were like, oh, 1 baby was, you know, hard, 2 babies was hard, but now 3, like it just seemed like that's their limit, and somehow things changed for them. So it almost sounds like you're like a hired BFF that they don't mind actually asking for help for, because they're like, I'm paying her.
Literally.
Like, help me do these things. Whereas if I had somebody in my house and I'd be like trying to host, you know, they're like my friends or family, and it's different than when you have like someone else that is their literal job to be helping you.
Totally. Yeah, I know. I always say it's like a postpartum doula is like having a best friend in your home that is emotionally grounded and isn't there to judge you and isn't there to tell you what to do. Because I feel like some family members, unfortunately, feel like they have that job of telling you you're doing something wrong. I'm never going to do that. I'm there to just support you through your decisions and just be that like emotional support or physical support if you need it.
That's great. Now, on the physical recovery side of things, most of the time I'm seeing clients after the fact because of this like early postpartum. I almost want to call it a fear of movement and working out. And their doctors are like, wait till you're all cleared, you know. You have this unique opportunity to be in the home, like being with these women in this early postpartum phase. So like, what are some of the things that you're going through with them to kind of help them physically kind of progress?
Yeah. I think that's a great question. And since I'm not a therapist, I'm not like a medical provider when I am a doula, the only thing I really do is just have conversations with them to help them kind of navigate, like, how is their body healing, and are you feeling prepared to, start incorporating that movement. Because I remind them, like, yes, movement is so important for our healing and so important for our mental health. And some moms who go straight from the gym to having birth want to go back into the gym because that's where they love to do that. But I try to remind them, like, take it slower, rest as much as you can, and then when your body's telling you you're ready, then you're ready. Because I feel like a lot of times moms feel healed, the pain subsided, the bleeding stopped, but then you progress to some movement and then you'll notice the bleeding again. So that's why I'm there to kind of reassess every shift and ask them, like, how are you feeling? How's your bleeding? And then if I notice any red flags, that's when I can provide them with the referrals to, like, seek medical help. But in the meantime, if they do want to move, I encourage them to do just gentle movement in their bed, really. And that just includes, like, stretching. Like, a lot of times we get so tense in our upper bodies if we're breastfeeding or if we're even bottle feeding. You're just constantly, like, hunched over. So really teaching them to, like, stretch up their upper body, practice really deep belly breaths to help with the pelvic floor and to help with that core engagement without actually, like, physically working out, are great places to start, and are within my scope as a doula to just encourage them to begin there. And then if they do feel ready, or if their doctor provided or cleared them, at that 6-week appointment to start working out again, then I can say, like, great, I know a great physical therapist who can provide, like, a workout schedule for you if you really do want to go back to working out, but want to protect that pelvic floor and that core after giving birth. Like, I can provide the referrals for them.
Yeah, that's a really great opportunity. Honestly, like, so many people are just so lost and so confused, and they don't have anyone to, like, bounce ideas off of.
Right.
What's to be expected or normal at that early phase. And then where do I go? So that's cool that you can be there and be like, hey, you know what? Here's some providers that I know in the area that you could reach out to for help. But yeah, there are so many ways that those early postpartum moms can, if they're feeling okay and ready, because there's a lot. It's overwhelmed, you're sleep deprived, right? If they're feeling like they can even give any attention to it, which I can understand. Like you mentioned, a lot of that connecting your breath again, connecting to your pelvic floor, gentle movement, gentle stretching, just kind of maintaining your body, because you are in a lot of prolonged positions that are awkward. And especially if, you've never breastfed before and you're like, what the heck am I doing? And you're all, like, in this weird hunched position. And but yeah, it is kind of one of my things that I really want women to know, that they can and should be moving their body in strategic ways, even before they're, like, 6 weeks all clear. And then the differences between C-section recovery versus a vaginal delivery, just a little insights on those things can make the world a difference from an early on phase, instead of, like, wow, I'm 3 months postpartum and I feel so weak and deconditioned, when motherhood is not a weak and deconditioned activity. You need to be strong.
Right. No, totally. And I honestly feel like culture, it's like this all or nothing. Like, you can't just do a little bit of movement. You have to, like, go straight back to lifting heavy. And it's like, no, like, these moms need time to heal and rest and recover, but you can still incorporate, like, those gentle movements at home. Even walking, like, walking's gentle enough for you. Like, once that pelvic floor and, like, the bleeding gets a little bit better, like, I encourage moms to, like, go on walks or step outside even and just, like, stretch, because, like, the sunlight, the fresh air, and that little movement really helps with the healing process.
I 100% agree. So as we both know, this is a very stressful time for new moms, new families, like, even the husband, the partner, the other children, all of the
Mhm.
above. Do you have any kind of strategies or tips on helping during this time for like that stress management?
Yeah, I really feel like stress is such a personal subject because I tend to hold stress, and postpartum could have easily gone to be very stressful for me. So when I can sense that moms are starting to feel that way, I can really like look inward and say like what helped me through that. And so asking for help is such a difficult thing sometimes when you're postpartum, especially as women. I feel like we have to do it all and we should be doing it all. But asking for help really is a strength in this regard of like managing your stress and reminding yourself that being constantly like on or like in this fight or flight mode really does like sabotage your healing, and it affects your hormones. It affects, which if your hormones are affected, your bleeding's getting affected, your breastfeeding journey is going to look a lot different, and even our mood looks different. And so really accepting help and being open about what your expectations look like for postpartum prior to giving birth, and like having that discussion with your spouse or with your family members that are going to be in your home really helps limit the stress because they know what you are wanting. And so as a postpartum doula, I do provide like postpartum plans, I call them, and they really just talk about like the nitty gritty of like, okay, who's going to be doing the dishes, and like write their name down, or like who's going to be doing the laundry, like write that person's name down. And then as the mom, you don't have to sit there and ask people to do those things. They should know what your expectation is. So it really is just like being proactive in it when you're like pregnant to help with the postpartum, because hormonally, like it's crazy postpartum. So you can't expect to have those conversations when you're postpartum, because it's just going to look a lot different than if you had them prior to giving birth.
So I love that. Is this like an actual sheet of paper that they print out and they put up?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, no, it's like a whole packet that you can print out. And I even encourage moms to like write a list of like chores that they know that they're going to want help around the house, and print it and post it on your fridge. And so if you have a friend or family member over and they're like, what can I do to help? That's like such an annoying question, because it's like, as a mom, you're breastfeeding, you're thinking about so many other things. The last thing you want to do is think about something that they can be doing. And so you could just like direct them to your fridge and say, look, I made this list. Please just pick something on this list that you feel comfortable doing. And that would be super helpful to me.
Yeah. I wanted that so badly.
Yeah.
And everybody is with this like, oh, I don't want to step on toes. I don't want to overreach, or, oh my gosh, if I do the dishes, she's going to think I'm judging her.
Right.
Or, I could see that mentality of like, oh, I don't know that in, intimately. I don't know their house that
Right.
well, but even like I didn't have my mother close. And so if I had friends or family, I didn't ask, and it would have been something that I wanted them to do.
Right.
But it wasn't like a list that I could just be like, oh, or my husband could say, hey, family, when you're over.
Yeah. No,
could you
I know.
help with this?
Yeah. And honestly, getting your spouse involved is so important, because sometimes like as a mom, like a new mom, like you don't want to be having those conversations. So having your husband or like your best friend or your sister like be the person to delegate is so helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. So many people, and I'm sure this is the same. Everybody wants to hold baby and be with baby, but like my physical body was just like, no, like I wanted to hold that baby, and I wanted you guys, like anybody, to just do the work.
Yeah, no, and you should be. Like the main goal for moms is to bond with that baby. And so when people come over and they just grab the baby, it just feels so like you don't want to tell them no, but at the same time it's like, yeah, you do want to say like, that's when a husband can say like, hey, no, I think so, like she should hold the baby, and you can like fold her laundry while sitting next to the baby and looking at them and talking to them, like all that. So it is important to incorporate everyone in the household.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Getting the spouse to kind of advocate for your needs ahead of time would have been very nice. And I didn't even think to do that. Like I should have, But I didn't hire a doula, so
No,
I should have.
that's
So
okay.
at what phase in someone's pregnancy would it be best for them to like reach out to you to be like, hey, I am thinking about hiring a doula?
hmm Honestly, I don't think it's ever too soon. Like if you get that positive pregnancy test and you know you want a postpartum doula, like reach out, like even birth doulas, like reach out to those people because oftentimes the more support that you have, like postpartum, yes, I'm mainly with the moms after they give birth, but I love to offer like prenatal appointments where I can go meet the family and sit with them and get acclimated to the home and get acclimated to the other children in the home. Like the sooner you reach out, the sooner you can get those things scheduled. And then oftentimes, like, text us if you have questions, text us if you get confused or stressed about something. Like, I would say never too early to reach out. And then oftentimes, I also get moms that reach out, they gave birth, it's been like a week or two, and they're like, wow, I didn't expect it to be like this. And I need some support. And so then I get moms who reach out and they already have the baby in their arms. So I feel like it depends on the type of person the mom is. If they're very type A and they want to plan everything, like reach out while you're pregnant. But if you just want to see how it goes and you're not fully committed to the doula yet, give birth and see if you want the extra support.
Yeah, I could see it being hard to actually make a coherent decision after the fact.
Yeah.
But that was maybe just me. So I feel like I would have wanted to know, like I had some support ahead of time.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, have them come get acclimated to you and your house and your partner and your pets and your, you know. So yeah, could you just explain a little bit about how your structure works? So like, let's say someone did meet you and say, hey, I'm interested in some services. I'm still pregnant, but maybe they have a few weeks to go still. Do you have like standardized, like, this is my postpartum package and it's just like, this is what it is? Or do you like pick and choose based off of what they're asking for?
So generally my services stay the same. I do offer packages, but it's just like the amount of hours that I'm doing, caring for those families. So, my services will never change. But I will talk to the family. We'll have a call and we'll talk to them and figure out like, hey, what time of day are you thinking you'll want me over? What days specifically? Like maybe they have mom coming in Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so they're going to want me Tuesdays and Thursdays. Like that is when we can get specialized and like I can tailor it towards that specific family. And then the packages come into play with that, with how many hours they want to book with me.
Okay, so that's really convenient because it could just be like, I need this level of support versus this level of support. Mm-hmm. But then all of the above could be included into what you do. So it's not like, oh, well, you're going to pay different for like this help versus this help. It's just the hours. And obviously, like if you're making food for the family, did you say that was one of the things you do?
Yeah. So yeah, I will make food or like just meal prep in general. So like go grocery shopping and maybe dad wants to cook, but like they don't want to do the grocery shopping. Like I'll do that for them, or I'll like cut everything up and have them ready. So then they just throw it in a pan and like heat it up. So it just depends on like what the family desires.
Okay. So that's very nice. Cause yeah, sometimes people would be like, no, I don't like prepping all the food.
Yeah.
Cooking part's not bad, you know.
Yeah.
So little, but it's the shopping for the planning, the shopping, and then when they want it, they can make it fresh right then and there because everybody has different preferences.
Yeah, totally.
Cool. So as far as like everything that we've talked about just like who you are and like your history of like doula and nurse and kind of how you pull from being a nurse, but it's not like you're there as a nurse. Mm-hmm. But I feel like that gives you this unique perspective to like have this knowledge that you're like, oh, yes, that is not normal. Let's send you to the right provider versus, you know, not having had that experience. And then, you know, helping the mom kind of de-stress and understanding what ways that she can like ask for help and set systems in place and actually start and begin her movement journey in, you know, a moderate way without going crazy.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you're just like, I'm really passionate about XYZ and this is really integral, but we didn't talk about it yet?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times moms don't think about this, but I can also be there for just like those appointments that can be very overwhelming initially. So you have your first pediatrician appointment, and let's say your husband has to go straight back to work. He doesn't have much PTO, and you don't want to go alone. Taking this newborn seems overwhelming. Like, I can meet you at that doctor's office and sit with you in the waiting room and go into the doctor's office if you want me to be with you. Or if you have an appointment, you have that 6-week follow-up appointment, but you have nowhere to take your newborn and you don't want to bring the newborn back with you, I'll sit in the waiting room with your baby. So I feel like a lot of times there's these like little niche areas that moms, I'm so sorry about my dogs, if you can hear them, but
not really.
Okay, cool. There's these little niche areas that I think oftentimes get overlooked with postpartum, because postpartum is like this all-encompassing thing. And I feel like asking your doula to assist you with those things is so helpful. And it's not just about like the healing. It can be the like emotional support and that like practical help that you might need.
Yeah, I would never have even thought that somebody could come with me to those, you know, appointments. So that's really cool, especially like you said, if maybe they're a single parent and or their partner is away or busy and it is so overwhelming. And I've had clients who've brought like their partner with them before, which has actually been really helpful because then their partner knows exactly like what this person's being told. And maybe the mom isn't in the right space to be like, yes, I'm remembering all of this information. So then to have someone else kind of there to help reinforce that, that's very helpful. Because yeah, the things that fall through the cracks when you're so overwhelmed and tired are immeasurable, I'm sure.
Yes, totally.
Well, great. So if you could give just like one piece of advice for any mom, what would you want them to know after they give birth?
I think I would just say like, it's okay to slow down. Like, this period of time is the one time that you'll get, like, every day is going to be, the baby's older, you're more healed. Like, the moment that you're living in, that one day is all you get with that baby. So slow down and take it in. Because postpartum is so hard, but it's also so beautiful. And we were built to do this. And the Lord like gave us the ability to be moms and to nourish this baby. So really just rest knowing that like you will know what to do. Like, even if it feels overwhelming and even if there's like a really hard day, like, you were built for this. And it's okay to just rest and give yourself like a minute to just relax and slow down.
Or would you say grace?
Grace, yes. Give yourself a grace. Yes.
Oh man. And now that we're on the other side of that infant journey ourselves, like my son, he's 4 years old. And some days he wakes up and he says, I'm 5 today. So he feels like I'm 5 today, you know, and he doesn't understand age. But that time, like you said, it was some time that like we needed to slow down, and it was okay to slow down. And to just, I guess, relish in that, even though like it's gonna be hard and there are moments where you can remove yourself from the situation. Like you don't have to just enjoy every single second of it. That's unrealistic, right?
Yeah.
And then as we look back, like as I look back with my son, I am glad that I slowed down and I took the time. And I fought for that longer maternity leave that they weren't going to give me, you know, and so that I could spend that time with my son. But so I think that's really great advice. Yeah. So if somebody were like an expecting or a newly postpartum mom and they're in the area, how would they go about kind of reaching out to you if they're curious about your services?
Yeah. I am pretty most active on Instagram. So you can find me on Instagram. And then I also have a website that you can reach out to me on there. And the website will go into detail about like the packages I provide, maybe like some frequently asked questions that you're like, what the heck do I do? Like, for instance, like gifting a doula, like how do you gift a postpartum doula to someone? So I have those questions on my website answered. And then I also have a contact form on there. But if you don't want to fill out the contact form, you can also just like message me on Instagram or shoot me an email as well. But those were like the three main ways to reach out to me.
Okay, so then those will be just down in the description and then linked below. But can we just appreciate just for a second that someone would gift a doula?
Yes,
So,
I tell people all the time, I'm like, yes, the newborn onesies and all the little things are so helpful and like they are so cute. Like it's so fun to gift them. But at the same time, like services are like my go-to when it comes to baby showers because they're the most practical, obviously. And yeah, as a mom myself, I wish I got gifted every single service under the sun when I was postpartum. So I really do try to advocate for people putting it on their registry, and then people can just like pay towards the fund to pay for a doula.
I think that's brilliant. So yeah, send this to any of your friends
Yes.
that are pregnant and just be like, please gift me a postpartum doula.
Yeah.
Or you could gift them postpartum pelvic floor physical therapy.
Yes.
Because I feel like every woman pregnant and postpartum need to go through at least one session of pelvic floor physical therapy. Honestly, because there's so much that you could glean from just one like assessment that you're like, wow, I'm doing better than I thought. Or, wow, I could really work on some things and someone knows how to guide me because I'm so overwhelmed. Just tell me what to do. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, where even I do have some women, they come and they're curious and they just do one session.
Yeah.
And I say, you don't need to come back. You know what I mean? Like, go do these things and I don't need you to come back. And I think that in and of itself is very confidence boosting if someone else is like, I'm doing well.
Totally. No, I love that. I feel like I would love to go be assessed by a physical therapist just because, like when you give birth, it is so traumatizing down there and you just never know like what problems you're facing until you get assessed by a professional.
Yeah. And it's enlightening. So
yes.
Maybe you can come see me, Carly.
Yes, I know. We'll schedule something.
But Carly, thank you so much for all of your insights. I think anybody would be blessed to have you as their postpartum doula. And
thank you.
I really appreciate like your passion for this and your knowledge in it, as well as like your kindness. You can just tell that you really care about this population and not just to earn your money. Like, this is a population that we love to serve. And I get that.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. Well, we will have your information posted below. Perfect. And that is it for today.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.